Fewer levels like those in Tomb Raider 3's London section have better impressed upon me the importance of giving the player absolute agency in overcoming adversity. Thames Wharf, Aldwych, and Lud's Gate represent classic Tomb Raider level design at its absolute peak. These levels are dark, twisted, and elevate reticence to a whole other level. Released in 1998, Tomb Raider 3 was way ahead of the trend of making 3D games difficult on purpose. These days, players have waypoints to follow, maps to reference, and a myriad of other ways they can ask the game for help. The only guidance Tomb Raider 3 will provide you is a pack of flares. That being said, I would like to briefly stress the importance of spoilers. While I certainly welcome your opinion on these levels, I do not wish to ruin them for you. So if you've yet to complete London, I suggest you add this video to your Watch Later playlist. And as you play through London, I suggest you revel in every moment. Take notes, make maps, carefully explore every corner of every level. You only get to experience London for the first time, one time. Do not let it intimidate you. You are a Tomb Raider. To everyone else, I say, let's get started. London can easily be classified as the hardest section of Tomb Raider 3, rivaled perhaps only by the final levels, RX Tech Mines, and of course, the lost city of Tinos. It is here that the player can find almost 30 different save crystals, more than any other section of the game. London is difficult, but it is this difficulty that represents a slow pulling back of the curtain, and once the solution becomes apparent, the mystery of London solved, is half the challenge removed. For example, the ability to complete Thames Wharf early lies just one jump from the start of the level, but many are likely to overlook it, and even if they stumble into it, are unlikely to realize how it could be used to complete the level early. Even myself, while I did manage to find this path as a youth, I chalked it up to little more than a secret area containing a save crystal and some items. It's small distinctions like this one that make London feel so imposing, despite the levels really not being all that big when you look at the blueprints. Still, if there was ever a set of levels I wish I could go back and experience for the first time all over again, it would be Tomb Raider 3's London section. Thames Wharf kicks things off quietly. It's nighttime, raining, and the dimly lit terrain is certainly not about to make things easy for you. There are ample opportunities to fall to your death here, so the most efficient approach is to use the reluctance of the level against itself. Think of it like solving a maze backwards. To improve your chances of survival, you had better have some flares on hand. As you aimlessly descend deeper into the dark recesses of the level, you won't be able to help but notice the eerie glow of reds, purples, blues, and yellows that the level employs rather beautifully. These colors combined with the constant shadows make for a truly cold and breathtaking experience. The constant thrum of traffic, of normal life in the background, makes you feel even more isolated here in the cavities of Thames Wharf. Eventually, when you would think the stage over, you are instead thrust into its second part. Now Laura has to manipulate the height of water, flooding separate chambers in hopes to reach deepest into the furthest one. This part is both dark and reluctant to share its secrets. For example, housed in a tight underwater passage are two massive spinning rotor blades. They will absolutely dice Lara into chunks upon approach, and it is here that London begins to subtly play on your fears. When you lower the water levels in this specific chamber, the rotors actually spin more slowly, allowing Lara to slip by. However, if you're unable to discern the difference in rotation, expect to find yourself stuck here, for Lara must brave the blades of the fans in order to progress. This sleight of hand is not the only thing Thames Wharf has up its sleeve. Sometimes even a mere difference in textures is enough to baffle you, and just when you begin to get a hang of the underground portion of the level, suddenly you find yourself back out in the rain, not far from where you started. Fortunately, now there's not but a crane to climb, a rooftop or two, and a few foes standing between you and the end of this rainy night. Well, at least the rain part, anyway. Aldwych is probably the one level that most players remember being plagued by. This forsaken transit system has many doors that need prying. The means of doing so hidden throughout the entire level. Right at the very start, the player passes by some ticket kiosks. None of them stand out in particular, except for maybe one for those who possess a keen eye. It's not until later, after restoring power to a section of the level, that the player comes across a penny by the tracks. What might it be for? Could it be for the kiosks? Clever thought. However, even if you connected these dots, there was still a possibility that you would not interact with the right kiosk. That's correct. Only one kiosk can dispense a ticket, and there are more than a few. Even more obtuse is that the original Tomb Raider 3 provided no action icons. An action icon indicates that Lara can interact with a particular part of her environment. No one would blame you for thinking that the kiosks are simply long out of order. It is likely here that players found themselves defeated. Still, when you do figure it out, the solution is nothing but a ticket to satisfaction. A place you might not think to look for a solution is along the level's train tracks themselves. That's right, 2 main areas of the level are actually derivatives of wandering into the dark unknown of the tunnels. Fortunately for the player, Aldwych insists. One area is not as hidden as its sister. A baddie even vacates his hiding place in favor of another, perhaps a design choice meant to catch the player's eye. Still, Lara must brave the sound of the oncoming train if she hopes to defeat this devious dungeon. What lies next to each tunnel are mazes of unique architecture, one vertical, one horizontal. The first pits Lara against some kind of digging machine, forcing her to make the best of the uneven and hewn terrain in order to reach the bottom in one piece. The other serves as a kind of escape room with doors Lara must open by way of switches in an attempt to reach the innermost chamber. The first maze is especially noteworthy because the initial visit provides Lara with next to nothing. It is only if the player thinks to return here that they're able to collect a vital piece of this level's puzzle. This is just one of the many genius ways that Aldwych tricks you. You complete a path, and the reward is seemingly nothing. I could go on forever about why I love this level. From the unnerving glow of its simpler colors, to its muddied disrepair, to its cold, crime-sullied underbelly. It is here in Aldwych where many of us thought we had come face to face with a level that had no end. However, just as you begin to convince yourself of such, Lara slides deeper into a hell of another name. Initially, Lud's Gate seems like a more forgiving level. Lara is tasked with retrieving some embalming fluid from the nearby National History Museum. Easy enough, and after about 10 minutes, you've climbed your way into the very normal-looking museum and retrieved the embalming fluid. Delivered it, even. So that's it for Lud's Gate then, right? Wrong. The real level starts now. If there is any water level in Tomb Raider 3, it is definitely Lud's Gate. The stark contrast between the stroll that is the beginning of the level and what is to come could not be any more alarming. After falling down a trapdoor, Lara has no choice but to swim into the dark, claustrophobic sections of the level that are as unassumingly quiet as they are lethal. Armed men lurk in poorly lit chambers, crocs hide in the shadows beneath the water, and God help you if you miss this key. The only hope you have of conquering Lud's Gate is to pay careful attention to its color variation. So long and formidable are some of its chambers that, for the first time, Lara's impressive lung capacity will not avail her, and she must utilize an abandoned DPV if she hopes to survive. Rarely there is a pocket of air to find solace in, mostly there is not. Levers beget doors, doors beget levers, thus the maze lulls you on. The deepest room provides air to breathe, but little respite. By this time, exhaustion has likely begun to set in. All the player might want or desire at this point is the way forward. No side paths, no detours, and no more water. And it is in what might seem like a side path, hidden by water, that the way forward lurks. If you picked up a certain key, that is. Finally, the level messes with your sense of progression by insinuating that the way forward is behind you, in the watery grave you just barely climbed out of. And unbeknownst to you at this point is that any pocket of air you might have leaned on before is now gone. If you survive the return trip, you come to face off against an imposing empty vertical shaft cloaked in darkness. Try as you might, no direction leads anywhere but death. Even worse is that the absence of light mocks you in your attempt to spot a ledge or a handhold, any means of making progress. Once again, behind you is where the path lies. Lud's Gate revels in its dead ends, so expect more than a few. Clambering into the opening you overlooked before is the one and only key to conquering the pervasive darkness of the final chamber. After a couple of flares, some jumps that will make your breath hitch in your throat, and a little bit of crawling, you don't complete Lud's Gate, you escape it. The final stage in London, titled City, is a boss fight that pits Lara against Sophia Lee. It's a perfectly fine boss encounter, but easily the weakest of the levels. For that reason, I will not discuss it in greater detail here, as the purpose of this video was simply to gush over the London section. I hope you enjoyed hearing about it as much as I enjoyed talking about it. London can be an acquired taste for some. Many consider these levels to be among the worst the series has to offer. I respectfully disagree. These levels were clearly not meant to be a walk in the park. While they can be obtuse at times, at least they are not cryptic. For those who love a challenge, I absolutely recommend a trip to London. Well, there you have it. My love letter to Tomb Raider 3's London section. I am eager to hear your thoughts, or perhaps you prefer a different part of the game. Either way, make sure to let me know in a comment. As always, thanks for watching. Your time is valuable, and I very much appreciate you spending it here with me. Until next time.